Yeah, so we knew our last 7 games were going to be tough. We had not had a great start to the last 7. Started out 0-2 in those, so we've got to correct the ship here a little bit. And Kentucky's been playing well. They've got some injuries going on themselves, but I think they've kind of galvanized themselves and played some pretty tough basketball here lately. So we've got to be ready to go. And we've had an issue with our starts to games. You know, started out 9-zip against Auburn, 12-zip against Missouri. We've addressed it. Got 4 fifth-year seniors in the lineup. We've tried to make sure they got their legs back up under them. We even before we had all the travel issues yesterday, we decided not to practice yesterday just to try to get their legs back, make sure that it's not a physical fatigue matter with the starts of these games. So didn't practice yesterday, went super light today, and with the goal in mind to get them recharged physically, mentally, see if we can have some better starts to these games. So we've got Kentucky now. As I thought the last home game, crowd was unbelievable. We need it again. We are still a top 4 team fighting for NCAA tournament seeding, fighting for SEC tournament seeding, and with an outside chance to still play for an SEC regular season championship, depending on what else goes on elsewhere in the league. It's a little disappointing that we're not in full control of our own destiny anymore, but told the guys that's a sign of maturity to see how you respond to some adversity when you have to play hard, not knowing what anybody else is going to do. That what somebody else does shouldn't affect your effort in the game, and I think that's going to show how mature we are, what kind of effort we can play with in games that may or may not determine whether you win an SEC regular season championship. So we're just going to have to bring our max effort, asking the crowd to show up strong like they did last Saturday, like they have pretty much every SEC game all year. And we're still playing for a lot here this season.
Start with Tony.
We've obviously seen Grant play a lot better than he has. Just what have you seen from him lately? And then also this last time out against Kentucky, or his last game against Kentucky, is probably his best game of the year. So can you kind of recapture that maybe? Yeah,
we've definitely noted that. I think he had 19 at the half last time we played Kentucky. I agree, it's probably the best he's looked all year. It'd be great if we could get that Grant back. I mean, he just came out that game aggressive downhill. So, part of the no practice yesterday, very late practice today, I was trying to get his legs back under him, get Youngblood, get Cliff. I think Mark's been very good. I thought against Missouri that might have been Mark's best game. I mean, he was, obviously he scored it well, but he scored it very efficiently. I mean, he only took 3 more shots than he did against Auburn, scored double the amount of points. So, and I thought his effort on defense was as good as it's been all year. So, I think Mark's legs are under him. Mark's done a really good job making sure he's ready to go. We got to get these other 3 fifth-year guys' legs back up under him and playing with a lot more pop. And hopefully these last 2 days will do that for him.
Yeah, your shooting splits road versus home. You're shooting 29% from 3 at home and 39% on the road, just with a 10% difference. What do you kind of attribute to that? What do you think some of the reasoning for that is?
I don't have a great answer for that. I mean, there's some, theories that we've talked about a little bit. One of them may be sometimes less is more. When we're at home, guys are able to get in the gym a bunch. They get their shooting time in the morning, they come back in early before the game. We chart how much they put. Some of our guys are putting too many miles on their legs before a game starts at home. So some of our guys need to eliminate some of the shooting times in the afternoon, probably just get their legs up under them and shoot. That's one theory. Some of it is we know we're going into a hostile environment. We know we just got to be tough as nails, and I've attributed this a lot, just lose yourself in the game. I think when you lose yourself in the game, knowing it's going to be tough, you got to be locked into defense, you got to be making blue-collar plays. I think sometimes the offense just takes care of itself when you're focused on the right stuff. So I don't know which it is. Maybe it's neither of those 2, but we're going to try to address both. Get themselves to just lose themselves in the game and make sure we're not overdoing the wear and tear on our bodies on game day just because we have access to a gym here at home either.
Okay.
You talked about trying to get guys' legs back under them to maybe kind of help with the slower starts, but I guess other than that, you obviously can't ensure it as a coach, but kind of what are you doing to the best of your ability to make sure guys come out ready to go home tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, we've lightened the load. Today was the latest practice I've had all year. Maybe in a few years here, we didn't practice yesterday. We had some travel issues coming back. We didn't get back till probably about 5 o'clock last night from Missouri, but due to some weather issues and plane issues up there. But it wasn't the worst because we just stayed overnight in Missouri. They didn't have a super late night. You know, we were able to get a decent night's sleep and then get back, then practice, did all of our video review at the hotel there in Missouri. So really, you know, making sure that we didn't overdo it in practice either yesterday or today, making sure that they get with Clark to get their bodies right, not going to overdo it on the game day practice tomorrow, be light walkthrough, and it's just going to be up to them to make sure they're mentally ready to go.
Johnny.
It's your second crack at Kentucky. Obviously, you went up there, you get them back here. From what you've studied from them this year, kind of up and down, how do you feel like Mark Pope has done with this team, and what do you expect the second time around? They get a little tape on you this time.
Yeah, I think Pope's done a really good job there. You know, their non-conference was great. I mean, they had a quality win. It really helped the SEC out. You know, they beat Duke. I don't know when the last time he's had everybody fully available, and I think Chris is obviously done for the year, but even like kind of like Reitzel's done for the year with us. You know, so I don't even count Reitzel when I count fully available. Like I kind of don't count Carissa, but I don't know when the last time he's had everybody, not including Chris even, when's he had Butler, Robinson, the whole crew. When they've been healthy, they've been one of the best teams in the country. It's hard. I mean, I've been there before, and we've had injuries different years. We've got them this year. I mean, with different guys out, it would have been nice if Darian could have been in every practice. It'd be great to have Houston Mallett and Joe Reitzel the whole year. So, you know, to the extent that the injuries have happened, I think Mark's done a great job. I think they run really good stuff. I think they even now, with all the injuries they've had, they've kind of galvanized themselves, and he's playing guys that weren't in the rotation at all before, and I think they're playing super hard for him. He seems like a guy that guys want to play hard for him. So I think he's doing a good job, but it's sports, and you're usually not as good as you are when you got your full squad, and I think that's what's going on there a little bit with some of the stuff in conference for them.
Jonathan.
So you lose a couple games, as you mentioned, not in control of your own destiny anymore, but still so much to play for. What has the response been like from the guys after the loss, and how do you hope to see them bounce back knowing that there still is so much to play for starting Saturday?
Yeah, I think some of our guys are very hard on themselves. They're extremely self-motivated. Know they're not playing up to their full capabilities, and it's not a group like I'm going to go in and just go after like I don't think some of it's, you know, that they're not trying to give effort. I think there's another level we can get to for sure with our effort, but some of it I got to do a better job reading them, making sure that their bodies are fresh and ready to go. I don't think we've really overdone it, but like with as many older guys and some coming off injuries, you know, Youngblood was out for so long, Grant Nelson, you know, maybe we need to just go a little bit lighter. So I've tried to encourage them, but we've got to get to this level. On my end, I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure your bodies are fresh. On your end, you got to make sure you do what you need to make sure your bodies are fresh by getting with Clark, make sure your minds are fresh, make sure you're locked in. It's going to need to be more video watching, and because we can't just go through it all live like, you know, maybe we've done in the past. So, you know, I've tried to keep their spirits up. I think we'll respond tomorrow. I think their spirits were up. I think our minds are in the right place. I think we will have given them enough time to rejuvenate themselves. I anticipate us being ready to go. We can't have the starts we've had. I mean, we start out 9-0 against Auburn, we lose by 9. We start out 12-0 against Missouri, we lose by 12. I don't think it's any coincidence somebody's trying to tell us something. We got to have better starts. And the one common denominator is those 4 fifth-year guys have been in the starting lineup. and they're all great kids that want to perform well, and they're down on themselves. So it's not like they need me to pile on. They need to make sure that they're fresh and ready to go and shot out of a cannon tomorrow. And I'm hoping that's what we see tomorrow.
Before the first Kentucky game, you told the team something along the lines of, if you're not planning on winning, you're not getting in the plane. Obviously, it's not a home game, but is the message kind of similar due to the back-to-back losses?
Yeah, I think before we went to Kentucky, that was after our first loss against Ole Miss. Something along the lines, by any means necessary, and if you don't plan on getting a win, just pack all your stuff because you don't plan on coming back with us. So message was sent. Not sure I can quite say that. The home game, but yeah, we got to come out like we've got our hair on fire, like the season's riding on the line. Because there's a lot still riding on this game. It's NCAA tournament seeding, it's SEC tournament seeding. It's giving yourself a chance to still be in it if things fall certain ways at the end of the year. I mean, 2 weeks from tomorrow, the regular season's over. Like, with all the time and effort these guys have put into being elite basketball players, why don't you put everything you have into finishing the year out the way that you want to finish it out? And then, let's see where it falls. Let's see what happens. But, sometimes national champions aren't regular season champions. 2 years ago, UConn wasn't. Sometimes they're not tournament champions. So, we're still in this thing to win the SEC tournament. We're in it to win the NCAA tournament. We're in it to win every game moving forward, and there needs to be a sense of urgency about this game that we haven't seen the last two games.
Jack. Yeah, just going back to Wednesday night, obviously Missouri had 1.4 points per possession in both halves. Just how would you assess your defense from a communication standpoint? What improvements do you need to see there?
Our defense hasn't been good. I mean, it has been good for a good number of halves now, but I think some of it's just go back to our fundamentals. Like, what kind of sense of urgency do we have? I think we gave up 27 or 29 points in transition. I don't have it in front of me right now. I believe it was 17 points directly off turnovers. Sometimes our offense isn't helping our defense with the amount of pick sixes we're throwing, and a block shot that leads to a transition play the other way is the same as a pick six turnover. We've got to get our offense to help our defense by stop turning the ball over on live ball turnovers and stop shooting, bad rim reads that get blocked going the other way. Two is we got to get back to our fundamentals, like our transition D. We got to get back and talk, like you said. What's our communication been? It hasn't been good enough. Like we haven't been good. So we got to get back. We got to get matched up. We got to get our defense set. We got to have a sense of urgency to play in a stance. I talked to a longtime friend of mine that's in the NBA that's followed us closely. They've been on All-Star break. He's watched a couple games. And he made the point with the coach, sometimes it's just get back to fundamentals. And I think he's right. It's like, can we guard the ball one-on-one? Can we sprint back, get our defense set, talk, and are we boxing out? How many times are we giving up offensive rebounds because we just miss simple box outs? Like, we don't have to overcomplicate the scouting report. I don't think the scouting report's the issue, to be honest with you. I think it's guys' sense of urgency to execute the fundamentals, to get back, get our defense set, have a sense of urgency to get a stop. I think it's the leadership in the entire program, starting with me, to make sure we're emphasizing the right stuff. The leadership as it filters down to the fifth-year seniors we have. Are they making sure they're ready to go and that the whole team's ready to go? And is everybody willing to sacrifice and be focused on the right stuff? If we get that, we won't be giving up a 1.4.
Last one, Tom.
Yeah. In the Missouri game, we saw Aiden, Sherrill, and Cliff on the court together. It's not a very usual look. What would you see from it, and is it something maybe we could expect moving forward?
Yeah, it wasn't a look that we typically would have. I do think Aiden can shoot enough that if another team puts two bigs out there like Missouri had, that they can both guard it. It could work because Aiden can shoot well enough to play on the perimeter, a little more on offense. And if some of our other guys are just getting like manhandle at the 4 a little bit, or we need Grant to play less minutes to make sure he's fresh, or Diabate or Jaron just aren't big enough, strong enough to handle the 4. Maybe it's something we go with. No, I don't think it's going to be often. It would have to be matchup based on what the other team has out there. Foul trouble with us, something along those lines, but could do it because Aiden can definitely shoot. I mean, his shooting's come along to what we thought it would be, and Aiden's playing better for us. So not something I would anticipate a lot of, but small minutes maybe depending on the other team's lineup.